Okay, so we are with a small group tonight reflecting on 2024 and all the powerful things that have happened and thinking a little bit about how that's going to shape us in our approach to 2025. And Katrina, you painted the Tunnel of Love this year at 10th
Yeah,
Street, Lick Run Greenway. And
yeah,
yeah, I was looking at pictures today from the
yeah,
dedication of that. Um,
yeah. I feel like that experience and even going to seeing, John's reveal, it just showed me how impactful it is to see so many people show up, you know, to want to participate in the reveal and to volunteer and help out and just come by and clean up trash. And it just make it just helps me, and it makes me just so proud to be a part of the community that's here. So I'm going into 2025 like with a perspective that people can work together. People can show up and participate. They just need a little art in their communities. They need a little art in their world. So
mm. And yeah. And how
just
do you
bringing people
see,
together.
yeah, how do you see your role as an artist and helping to shape that?
Um,
What role do you play? Or can you play?
I feel like the role that I play is just showing up and being an active participant. If that's creating something that's going to bring people together, then that's what I'm working towards, is creating places where people can show up and commune as a community.
Great.
So creating something, an outlet for people to gather and participate. I want to work with children. I think that's my next big thing, because I noticed a lot of children wanted to help out during the mural process. So um, I'm hoping to soon go into some like West End centers and outreach community, like Boys and Girls Club, getting with them, and maybe like doing an art show and a fashion show. Creating little stickers and painting on clothes and stuff.
Well, if you are interested in doing that, as because you've got your next residency project that you've got to kind of figure out.
Yeah.
You're interested in working with West End Center and making that happen and learning a little bit by doing it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
let's talk over the next couple of weeks. I was talking with Karen. We'll use this as a jumping off point and go to Rachel Ann. And Rachel Ann worked there, of course, at West End Center. And I left uh, Karen a stack of catalogs, and I said, the West End is one of our emerging neighborhoods. We would love to, provide whatever resources through the catalog, through artists in residence, and
Yeah.
let's work together. And I'm convinced that, each of these emerging neighborhoods, if we've got a youth group, whether it's through West End Center or the Envision Center or Melrose Library or the Presbyterian Community Center in Southeast, um, you name it, or through a park and recreation facility. Um, if we can be working with them and then connecting them to the place, that could be a launching point.
I would
And
love that.
yeah, how are they exploring their neighborhood? How do they connect to it? And how
Yeah.
how can we how can they put their fingerprint on it? Yeah. All right. So thank you, Katrina. That was you
Thank
just
you.
boy, you modeled the way beautifully.
Thank you.
So Rachel Ann, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. And you've got a new haircut.
I do.
Yeah.
It's
It
hard
looks
to take aware of in the wintertime. So I was just like, get rid of it.
Oh, it looks great. I'm the opposite because in the summertime, and it is really humid today, so my hair is a little out of control. But
Oh,
in the summertime, I want to cut it off because it gets so humid. Okay, so Rachel Ann, uh, reflect a little bit for us on 2024.
yeah. This was a crazy year for me, both professionally and personally. A little tumultuous at times, but ultimately I am just feeling really grateful and really blessed. Really lucky to have gotten to participate in all the things that I've been able to participate in this year. And I'm a very reflective person, and I try to pick like a word for my year to kind of be my like guiding force. And this year was purpose, and I feel like I walked in my purpose this year as an artist. And I just kind of, when I was in doubt, I bet on myself, and it's been really tenuous and scary, but to get to like do what I want every day is amazing, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. So yeah, working on a large scale at the West End Center for the first time, like, was really, really special and really, really challenging. And that's like the longest term project I've ever worked on, like in my whole career. Because I think that ideation really started like over a year ago. So it took a long time to execute, and a lot of people and help and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I feel really fulfilled going into 2025, and yeah, really, really grateful.
And then you're probably going to go into your thinking spot, your thoughtful place, and come up, kind of explore your word or your mantra for 25, I'm guessing. But
Totally. I don't have one yet.
what'd you say?
I don't have one yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought you would. Mine last year, the word the year before was equanimity for me. And then I realized that there was no action in that, and that's why I struggled with it. And so pause was my word this year. Like if I could just stop things, and when I'm starting to react and find myself, you know, getting spun up, if I could just pause. And so I'm trying to get better about that still. I might have to hang on to that word again next year because I may not have done all I need to do with that word. So as you step into 2025, are there any lessons that you took from working on the large scale at West End Center that you think you might build on? Not,
Yeah, definitely. I feel like for most of my life I've been very rigidly self-reliant. And I want to kind of pivot into a more collaborative space with all of my work, and like actually get realistic about my own capacities as a person. I feel like I'm a big ideas guy. I have a lot of ideas that I want to execute all the time. Like 3 months ago, I do a lot of pop-up markets, and 3 months ago I was like, I'm gonna be so prepared for the holiday season. I'm gonna have this stuff, I'm gonna have new stuff, I'm gonna make a calendar, and like Christmas is next week, and I didn't do any of that. But yeah, just taking time, asking for help when I need it. And yeah, leaning into like more collaborative arts. I formed, I helped form a group of poets, and we're doing like performances about building a better future and stuff like that. And that's been really cool because my writing process is very isolated typically. So it's nice to like get together with other dreamer folks and work together on stuff. So yeah, I think into 2025 I want to focus more on collaboration and cooperation.
Great. The poetry group. Now that's a writing group, or does it sound that I hear you say that you're going to be performing together as well?
Yes, we've performed twice now, and I keep meaning to send it to the newsletter and keep
Yeah.
forgetting.
You knew right, you knew right where I was going.
I will send it this time. I had that thought today. I was like, okay, we're gonna be hopefully doing one in January, and so I'll send that as soon as I have the date figured out. But yeah, we're the post-apocalyptic poets for a pre-apocalyptic world. And it's basically just the idea is that we are both writing from the future and towards it in a way that, you know, like the world that we want to see. And it's kind of participatory for the audience as well, like coming into the space and like building this thing together.
Oh, I want to be there.
It's really funky.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you followed any, or do you read any Adrienne Marie Brown?
Yes. Just a little bit. I think I follow her on Instagram.
Yeah. Check into her. I think, yeah, I think there's a lot of relevant. She's got podcasts too, if you rather listen to, rather than read. I can't, the one now that she's doing, like something about the end of the world. Anyway, I'll send you some stuff, but I think you'll be interested. And she, of course, is very influenced by Octavia Butler, the science fiction writer. Yeah. Oh, great. I can't wait to see that and to be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Jefferson, what are your reflections on 24?
24 at the beginning of 2024, I was working entirely independently, just on a kind of freelance swashbuckling basis. Had my own gigs, my own street show, my own travels, and I'm still doing all of that. But I started working with some nonprofits to do community outreach work. I went to Melrose Library regularly and was teaching kids there how to juggle after school, which is going to branch out into some chess tutoring in 2025. So anything for like, some people pick it up as a hobby, some people pick it up as a lifestyle and a pursuit, but sharing that more has been great. I brought in a large group of people to Theater in the Square in July on a project that you helped me put together, and had to collaborate with the city police and the market building and Center in the Square and DRI, and y'all, and that Facebook group is now healthily on its way to 500 people. Only 30 so performers, so it's the vast majority of it is people that are interested in seeing it grow and supporting it, which is great. I had always kind of like had the idea that it would work well in Roanoke, but didn't have the right platform or microphone to get that message out and collect those people. So by doing Busk Roanoke, and I feel like I'm supposed to narrow this down into a word.
Oh no, no, don't have to be a word.
That's
but-
not imposed. I feel like I should.
Oh.
But I've been coming to these meetings in person and online regularly. And I had known that there was Arts Connect Neighbors and Arts Commission meetings and groups of artists getting together. And in the same way that as a magician, I don't like other magicians because they all have that very adolescent urge to get one over on the big guys who shoved us in the lockers and stuff, and they can't let go of that and just let their audience have a good time. Those would be the smartest person in the room. I had a hard time wanting to collaborate, work, share with other artists, because it maybe seemed like a parade of patting oneself on the back and whatnot. And I was always like too punk rock for that, I guess, which was just me thinking I was too important to work with other people. But that all broke down. So I guess there's like a growth through humility there. I'm still a little bit too like, you're not gonna tell me when I can't work. Like that's still happening. But being able to reach out to people and mobilize a group to and trust people to show up and be interested, because there've been new acts that I haven't been on Market Street to see that
Sure.
people have told me about. That's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually like growing on its own, and I'm still getting all of the messages about like, would this work, or can I show up at this time? And I'm still massively in that coaching role that I imagine I'll be in for the foreseeable future, which I want to be in, which is great, and it's really cool. And the last part of this I'll say is like looking into 2025, getting phone calls from people in London or people in Vienna asking about that town in they're not sure where Virginia stops and Tennessee starts, but they know it's here somewhere. I was like, when can I come out and work there? Like putting Roanoke on a map with internationally touring performers, granted of a obscure group. But putting Roanoke on a map where people are calling me from Leicester Square, like, I want to come work there. When can we put something together? Has been great. So by being able to delegate and trust people to do their own thing, which does add to the larger picture, that's probably been the most formative experience of the year. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
It's been really
Great.
good.
Great.
Yeah.
And Polly.
Hello. My internet's a little funny, so I'm not showing myself. I'm funny too, probably looking, but I'm still trying to figure out which year we're in, because I feel like I've been in this riding a horse, and it's going really fast and trying to hang on and notice, be an observer of all the connections in Roanoke and all the beautiful opportunities and possibilities of interacting with different groups. And so from the homeless fair at the beginning, that was this year, right? Yeah, beginning of the year. I think I'm in the right year.
Yeah, maybe.
Up to all the Gainsborough discussions and David Ramey murals and arts pop and block parties and preparations for the parade. And yeah, I'm still kind of reeling in all of it, and seeing how the connections can manifest in different ways, and the need of to show up and to keep reminding myself and helping others see the connections and where we've been and where we could go, and to not forget one avenue of a pathway because we got starlights in another pathway. And so I'm still integrating and trying to understand my role and um, opportunity to connect with so many different people and bring in some of the different cultures and traditions into some of the activism work. For Evans Springs, we had Native American prayer circle um, back in the spring, and the compost fair and the Clean Valley Council had their repair and um, rethink and reuse festival. It helped people see how they could repurpose things, and it was fun for me because I was able to take some of my paper sculpture work and show folks how to use paper, which connects back also with the parade work and all those gatherings that we had to prepare for that. And circle singing kept me sane, and now drumming is my latest way of centering and grounding and um, keeping my mind from getting too anxious. And so, yeah, there's been a little bit of a dichotomy and push and pull of seeing things that don't feel right, but I know is part of that opportunity through conflict that we see as humans. And so yeah, it's just been a lot. And always going back to how communication and how we speak to one another and share ideas it seems so basic, but is so critical in helping us understand each other's purposes and finding some of these common connections. And so in my pursuit in the last few years of being in community and neighborhoods and now helping Community Arts Reach actually open a center has been very exciting and kind of like an end result in a way of a big idea, and now not to leave them hanging, find ways in this coming year to help support that empowerment that has gotten so far fairly quickly, and yet still also needs support, and is another new venue for teaching artists and opportunities for people to use that venue for performances and workshops. And yeah, the conversations just continue on points of diversity and the reparations groups and people finding who haven't been in the arts finding ways into the conversation and into projects through some of these examples that we've shown and others have shown. um, is inspiring. I'm exhausted, but
Yeah, I know. I just, wow, you've been, steadfast doing arts work and peace work and justice work in the community for a long, long time. Um, and that, those connections and conversations that you mentioned. And I remember working with you some with points of diversity in the study circles. And then we've just started doing the story circle um, effort, which is, very, very, it's all very similar. It's all the same thing, right? Getting people very intentionally to have a conversation. And that I was talking to somebody today about it. I'm just super excited about the potential for us to take all of these disparate pieces, like think about all the things Polly just mentioned, and build on them by just having a kind of shared culture of connection, of like intentionally, okay, before we get started on this project, let's just do a circle and focus. And here's like, what's the question we want to explore now? Let's explore it together and just build everything, like pause. Like I mentioned, my word this year, it is a way to like slow the pace a little bit and slow the event, project, event, project. That's that stream. By if we can slow a little bit, maybe we can create more connections across them, and make them all add up to even more. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And I didn't even mention the Washington Park and the cottage, and I still think that's an amazing potential. Of course, I see so many amazing potentials that are hard to get around. Henry Street, and but the cottage is it's still standing.
Yeah.
And can be renovated and rehabbed, and we have some models like the Christianberg Institute and others across the country who are recognizing the need for or rehabbing history, and Black history in particular, which is all our history. And Roanoke is just so rich with movers and shakers that made a worldwide difference. That we're still collecting those names and stories and sharing, which is great. And that's my sort of dream for the cottage, is to be an actual location where some of that history can be archived, and whether there be a little coffee shop there or just a history museum, or connect it with the education of the environment and what happened in that park, and how the rehabilitation is going on with the streams and the land itself, as well as the acknowledgement of the people and the stories. And so, yeah, I got sidelined a little bit, so I got to get back to that one actually.
And and right now is the time too, for us as a community to dig into that. And they've got resources to guide the next step. And how do we, they're getting the pool built. How do we take care of that history and be a steward of that property there next to the pool, the caretaker cottage? And I always think there's a path, right? It's not one or, but how do we do it all? And so it'll be, I know it very soon, like after we come back from the new year, I think that process is going to start. So, I think our, the artists and neighbors working together can be a big part of that. And we just have in Old Southwest, they just did the catalog entry on our green spaces, our shared spaces, our stories, or our shared stories, our green spaces.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they did such a fantastic job. I've got it in the next room. But every neighborhood and every outdoor space is, and kind of appreciation of nature and appreciation of history. That's a way to get to it, through poetry and writing and just digging in, exploring together, and first valuing it and then starting to make those decisions. So I'm really interested in that as a potential tool as we get going on that. So more soon on that. But thank you, Polly. Thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you. I'm glad we're all still here, and there's a whole new generation coming in, so that's great.
And Corey, what are your reflections on 24 and what's carrying you into 25?
Well, I like the way that you mentioned a shared culture of connection because I feel like everything is connected, whether we like it or not, good or bad. And the more we work in a way that it respects the community, the better off everyone will be. So I'm really thankful to be part of a group that has had such a positive impact on the community. And I've been really inspired by the dedication and hard work of the whole team and proud of everything we've achieved together. And I went to go see Annie. I got to go to a dress rehearsal because of Bambi, with the Jefferson Center. And I was amazed, not just because it was a great performance, but I was like, wow, there's so many people that went into the production of this. And it's just, that everybody worked together on this project. And it was like, wow, like we can do that for so many things. So I was really glad I got to go check that out, and it's made me think about all the stuff that everyone's did with the Arts Commission and the last couple years, and just a good reminder of everybody can do more together.
Yeah. Yeah. And pitching it, that, hey kids, let's put on a show.
Yeah.
There's something I'm reading, there's a new biography about the band REM, and I'm a big fan of them. And I read maybe 80 pages into it, and I'm so excited. Like I want to go home and dive into it because right now they're in Athens, Georgia in the 80s, and they are forming the band. And Michael Stipe was in art school at UGA, and there are all these art bands, Pylon, a bunch of other bands. The 52s were ahead of them by a little bit. But they even talk about how folks got together and like, okay, let's form a band. None of us know how to play instruments, but that's going to be even better because we're going to be freer because of that. And we're just going to figure it out. And there's something really exciting about that. And the idea of coming together to put on a show. And so when you dive into 25, what's any thoughts or goals or lessons learned that you're carrying with you?
Just hang in there and keep it up. Just
That's good. That tenacity. It's important work, and there are certainly frustrations along the way. I'm sure even putting and it can be something that's simple, should be simple, and it's not as simple as it as it ought to be, and it takes more time than you expected to, and it can cause frustrations. But then when you lift your eyes and you think about how important it is. Char, let's see. Oh, and I will say too, my tap dancing didn't go well last year. That was one of my goals for 24. And so my Achilles have been messed up, but I'm getting that squared away to be able to run again. So next year I'm going to take, there's an adult improv class at Mill Mountain Theater, and I'm going to take that. So that's going to be my I figured that'll help me do some of this collaboration and work together better across organizations and people. And then before we close up, I'm going to make an announcement for Charlene. If anybody is looking for something to do on Christmas Eve, there is a wonderful Christmas Eve service at St. Paul's happening at 6 p.m. And there is going to be there are a very prominent organist, community leaders, spiritual leaders, and singers, and a really lovely program. And that's going to be at 6 p.m. for candlelight service at St. Paul. And we can get you more information on that if you're interested in it. And with that, anything else? Well, I will thank you all for all you've done in 2024, and thank you for being along for the ride in 2025. And I wish you very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating, however you're celebrating it. with the people you love. I hope it's a wonderful season, and we will see you back in January.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.